Hello, my name is Heiko, and today I'll be walking through Swell, an AI software engineering coach that aims to help mid-level software engineers prepare for FANG-style coding interview loops. This is what Swell looks like. This is something that would be familiar to most software engineering interview candidates. On the left-hand side, you would have your problem description. Just to the right of it, you would have your coding editor. And this is something new that's introduced in Swell, an interview chat panel. Here, you can interact with the AI interviewer, and this is meant to mimic how you would interact with a real-life interviewer. So as you can see, we are given a problem description that we are required to solve. We see that we have two examples of what the input would be and what the output should look like. But of course, me as a candidate and as how this FANG interview loops go, the questions will not always be very clear. They are not always um, very direct about what the requirements are, and that's how these interviews should be, because they are meant to uh, probe you as a candidate and see how well you're able to sieve out the requirements. And this is very much a reflection of how um, real work, real life software engineering work is. Sometimes the requirements from our clients may not always be clear, and we as engineers have to engage with cross teams, um, even set up meetings with the clients to better understand what's the ask. And in this case, I as a candidate, I can clarify with the AI interviewer like I would with a real life interviewer what the requirements are. So I can type my query inside this interview chat panel, and in this case I'm not quite sure what the requirements are, because I know there should be some constraints for the input array and also the size and the shape of each of these values. So let me type that in. So in this case, I just typed in my question. Hey, I would like to clarify on some constraints. How big is this array? And how big are the values inside this array? And as we can see, Swell responded, hey, good questions to ask up front. Here's what we've got. Array length is between 2 and 10 to the power of 4 elements. Values inside the array can range from minus 10 to the power of 9 all the way to 10 to the power of 9. So plan for negative 2. And Swell is nice enough to provide some extra notes. And as this is meant to be a coaching application, we are not really mirroring the real life rigor of software engineering interview loops. Swell is being a bit thoughtful and giving candidates a bit of a helping hand. So it's saying, hey, this is also something worth noting, that is guaranteed that exactly one valid answer exists. And then Swell proceeds to guide us along, give us, uh, probe us along by saying, hey, given this bounds, what's your initial instinct for an approach and what complexity are you aiming for? So as a candidate, I can sit on it, just think about it, and I'll say, okay, this sounds reasonable. My initial instinct would be, so I say, okay, my initial instinct is that I will need to look over the array, and then for each of this value, I'll need to check if there exists a complement that sums to the target value. So Swell has responded, "That's a reasonable starting point. Walk me through it a bit more. As you look through, how exactly are you checking whether the complement exists? What does that check cost you in time?" So Swell is acting just like how a real life software engineering interview would. He's trying to probe and see whether you understand the problem. So I'll just submit one last message to close off this interview. And here I respond by saying, "Okay, I want to check I'm making use of a hash map or dictionary in Python. And this check will be O1. Swell says, "Nice. And when do you insert elements into the hash map relative to when you do the lookup? Walk me through the loop step by step, since that ordering actually matters here." And this is how Swell behaves. It is meant to coach you and guide you along for your software engineering interview. Thank you very much.